So today we're going to be going over 10 of the best kept fragrance secrets in the community. And that's a very key portion there at the end, in the community. Now, you guys probably know about most of the fragrances here in this video because if you're watching this channel, you have some sort of interest in the fragrance community and you're going above and beyond just the very base level where most guys are at, where they have no idea a community even exists. And so what's so great about this is you're able to get some insider information on some things that are really, really good, maybe that are at lower prices or better prices than some other things out there at retail, and you're going to be smelling better than everyone else around you. And so again, basically these are fragrances that people out there in the real world have no idea they exist at all, but you guys do, and you are going to be smelling significantly better than most people around you. So again, I just wanted to say that. You might know these, but again, people around you probably do not. But that being said, if you own any of these 10, or maybe you have close to all of them, you're on the right track for smelling unique and different and being able to stand out. So I'll drop links to all of these down below to discounters so you can check some of these out if you would like to. Also, I have a mailing list you can sign up to at the first link. I'll post deals there as they come into stock, rare, discontinued, hard to find stuff. Just recently, ACQUA Atlantique came into stock, 100 ml testers for 56 bucks, and if you guys know, that's discontinued. It's going for over 100 on eBay. Lattafa Camera, Parfums de Marly Layton testers with cap for 164. Luminous Night by Dolce & Gabbana, and the list goes on. Ideal Extreme, all of that stuff, right? Whenever that stuff comes into stock, I send an email out, I post on my community tab, and it usually sells out within a half hour, sometimes a bit less, sometimes even a bit longer, depending on just how hot it is. But if you guys want to have a chance of getting some of these rare things, you got to be on that list. All right, let's get things kicked off with AZZARO Chrome Extreme. Now, for obvious reasons, this video is not going to include all of your big blues, right? Sauvage, Dylan Blue, Bleu de Chanel, and everything like that, YSLY. The masses have already discovered those, okay? So there's nothing hidden gem or secretive about those. However, Chrome Extreme is a different take, an aromatic take on an overwhelmingly aquatic DNA and on a huge genre of aquatics. You know, I mean, that DNA is all over the place, from cheap, you know, 20, 12, 15 bucks, right? Dirt cheap all the way up to hundreds of dollars for niche. The aquatic genre and citrus genre is huge, okay? But this one does a different take on it. It's got cashmere with the C notes in here, some orange, juniper berries, a little bit of lavender also. You know, this is something that's going to separate you from everyone else who is maybe wearing, you know, Nautica Voyage or whatever, insert your favorite generic aquatic scent there. This is going to have you smelling different. And this is about $44, $45 on discounters for 100 ml, making it very affordable and much more affordable than Acqua di Gio Profondo, which they both of which smell similar to. You know, they smell similar to each other. So this is definitely going to be the much more affordable way to go at less than half the price. Okay, so this next one is Ralph Lauren Polo Supreme Cashmere, or Cashmere. I was going to say cashmere, but it does have cashmere. It also has incense, myrrh, iris, and cardamom. This is so good, and I'm very disappointed in myself. I have to say, I'll admit it fully, I dropped the ball on this one because I discovered it late. Now, I do think this is technically discontinued, just like all of the Supremes, Supreme Oud, Supreme Leather. They're all great, really good scents. And that being said, sometimes they'll pop up in stock again. That's where it pays to be subscribed to the mailing list. So this will come back at some point in stock and you'll be able to pick it up. It'll be limited though. It'll probably sell quick, especially after doing this video. But this is really, really good. And I wish they would have kept it around, and I wish I would have gotten it much sooner because it is impressive. I honestly didn't think I was going to like it that much. I'm not the hugest fan of cashmere, especially when used at the forefront, but it's not really at the forefront as much as you might think, given the name. It's incensey and sweet and resinous and all of that going on as well. A little bit warm and spicy from the cardamom. Impressive stuff for a designer and easily worth 80, 90, 100, 110 bucks, no problem. Impressive. Be on the lookout for this one. No one else is going to be wearing it. Next up, we have Prada Luna Rossa Black. So this one is available at pretty much all retailers, you know, for retail price, 110 for this bottle, bottle size 100 ml, or you can get a 50 ml, which I believe goes for 100. It's a very, very strange difference in price there for the 50 to 100 ml. So it's really quite weird. $10 gets you double the scent, basically. That being said, on discounters, it is a bit more rare. This is another one that comes into stock, and I posted about it, and it sold out pretty quickly. 100 mils for like 94, and 50 mils for like 74. So good savings on both sizes there. And if you ever have a chance to get this one below retail, it's definitely worth it. Even at retail, though, it's still a good one to get around if you're okay with paying that extra money. Now this one has tonka bean and amber. That's basically what it's all about. It's dusty, it's powdery, it's creamy, and it's sweet. It's not going to be for everybody, but if you do want to separate yourself and smell different, and you want something that is just, you know, maybe in a way a little bit of a challenge for you, although it is pretty linear and pretty I don't want to say basic because it's not, but there isn't a whole lot going on. It's just basically amber and tonka bean, but it's different than everything else out there. And so this is a nice one if you just want to branch out and maybe refresh your palate and give yourself something new to smell. Next up, we have Guerlain L'Homme Ideal Eau de Toilette. So you guys know I love the Eau de Parfum. I love the Extreme. I love the L'Intense version. They're all amazing. The first two there, the Eau de Parfum and the Extreme, are pretty hard to get. Similar deal. They sell out really quick and all that. However, the Eau de Toilette and even L'Intense, but this one in particular too, is pretty easy to get for an amazing price. This is half the price of the Eau de Parfum and the Extreme. This is around 50, 55, and those again are usually around 100, sometimes a bit more. So it's more affordable and you can get it at pretty much any time. And so with this, you do get that almond, tonka bean, leather mixture in here. It smells amazing. It's so unique. No one else out there is going to be wearing this for the most part. You know, this is just a little bit of a stretch for some people, and it's also technically a niche brand. You know, most guys aren't going to be knowing about Guerlain. So this is really going to separate yourself from the pack. It has a very classy, sophisticated smell to it. This DNA is just amazing. Let's keep it moving with Le Male Les Parfums. So everybody knows the original. Ultra Male has probably ran its course too. I mean, it got heavily hyped in the community, and I'm sure that started to trickle over into the real world as well at that level that it was operating at. And it makes sense, you know. And so what else is there in the line that got a ton of hype that a lot of people would know about? Not really too many of them. You know, it was really just the original. That was kind of the peak of the hype, and now it's kind of fallen off, right? However, Le Male Les Parfums, this is one that is going to be flying under the radar, I think, for probably most of its time. And by that, I just mean it'll be known in the community heavily, but outside of the community, probably not so much because, you know, it just didn't get that same amount of push like Ultra Male. It's not going to appeal to the masses in the same way. However, it is a great flanker, and this is how flankers should be done. It's a great example of a flanker, in my opinion. So what you get here is that vanilla lavender combination, which is, you know, classic to the line. However, you get some cardamom in here and even a little bit of iris. And you guys know anything that has iris, I'm all for. It's a little bit more subdued in here, but you do pick up on it. And the cardamom gives it a nice, warm, spicy pop. And even a little bit of a gourmand smell also. Just a really well done scent that is going to separate yourself from everybody else. And it's a great compliment getter as well as a great performer. So I think pretty much everybody at this point knows Dolce & Gabbana The One. That's kind of one of the fragrances that probably acts as a gateway fragrance, right? Someone picks that up at a department store and they really like it a lot. It kind of intrigues them, and from there, the rabbit hole opens up, right? However, the next one I'm going to talk about here is severely, severely underrated. And even so in the community, I feel like, yeah, obviously most people know about it in the community. It's hard not to know about a Dolce & Gabbana The One flanker. However, most people don't give it the time of day, at least is what it seems like to me. It's The One Gray. And that rhyme was completely unintentional. But this has vetiver. It's got grapefruit and a little bit of that tobacco in here as well. So essentially it's a woody take on the DNA and a fresher, brighter take on the DNA. If you think of Dolce & Gabbana The One as an evening, date night scent, a night out scent, this could be your daytime going to work or school version of that scent, and they layer perfectly together. And so I think this is really well done. Now, just like Dolce & Gabbana The One, EDT, EDP, whatever, the performance isn't the greatest. It's nothing to get excited about. It's an average performer. You know, it's a 5-6 hour performer. That's not great, especially by today's standards. It's not. That would be considered incredibly weak and water anymore because everyone wants 12 plus. But I gotta say, you can reapply it. You can spray it on heavily. You could carry the whole bottle with you, carry a decant. You can get this for as low as $35. So there's no excuse. I mean, if you don't like to, you know, carry around a sample, that's perfectly fine. I don't like to do that either. But if you like the scent enough, you'll do whatever it takes to make it work. And I think for a lot of you guys out there, this would be a great one. Or if you just have some quick errands to run, you're going to run out for an hour or 2 hours going to the grocery store or something like that. What says you can't wear this? It's going to perform fine for that duration of time. And I just think it's really good. And most guys out there in the community aren't going to be wearing it, let alone people outside of the community. Okay, I've been talking about this one for a while. Up next, it's AZZARO Pour Homme Intense. Look at that. Sad looking bottle, huh? It's almost down to the end. Now, this one, like I said, it's been on the channel quite a bit, but then something happened. It sold out. Like every single discounter was sold out of this stuff for months, if not probably close to a year. I've been tracking this stuff all the time, and just finally within the past couple of months it came back into stock. 100 mil, like $42, so right on par to where it used to be. Maybe it used to be like 35, but still more than reasonable price, and you can finally get it again with regularity. I don't think it's sold out once since then. And so that's great news because I think this is the best AZZARO Pour Homme flanker in the line. And again, this is another example of a flanker done right. This has brandy, it's got cinnamon and some tonka bean, some amber. Nice boozy take on the DNA, very mature and masculine, and just a really, really pleasing scent for wintertime. You know, it kind of has a little bit of a holiday feel, almost a little bit of a gourmand aspect again, and I think it's very underrated, especially at this price point. Even in the community somewhat, I don't think this gets as much appreciation that it deserves, and outside of the community, no one's going to be touching this. All right, almost down to the end, we have Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue Forever. So, trust me when I say I fully understand that not everyone is going to like this. This was actually one of the more polarizing releases from designer scents or designer brands within the past couple of years, and especially coming from Dolce & Gabbana, which generally, as we've seen, tend to play it very, very safe. But they went out on a limb, and I'm glad they did because, in my opinion, this saved the light blue line, which has been dying ever since Oh Intense. They peaked with that one. That one's great. All of the ones since then just haven't done well. Italian Zest, Love is Love, and then they had some of the limited edition ones, which one or two of which were good, but they're just that. They're limited editions. You can hardly pick them up anymore. They kind of lost their way. I don't know if they got lazy or what it was. Maybe they were just riding the sales of Oh Intense and thought everything was great. The point is, it got to the point where I wasn't even excited to see a new one released. But when this came out, it did look promising. I tried it out and I immediately loved it. Now, it's all about the grapefruit. So if you don't like citrus, you're not going to like this. But this is unlike any other citrus fragrance that I have, and I have a ton of them. My collection was built on citrus fragrances and freshies and summer scents and aquatics and all of that stuff. So to say that I've smelled nothing else like this is definitely saying something, especially when you can get this for, I think, around $60 on discounters right now. Italian Love is another really good one, and that has more bergamot in supporting the grapefruit there. This also has vetiver, it's got ozonic notes, and violet leaf. So really nice mixture, very fresh, invigorating, bright, uplifting, and energizing, and a must-have for the high heat. Second to last, we have Bottega Veneta Pour Homme, just the original, because this is the only one that you can get easily. There is I think there's an Intense, there's a Parfum, and all of that good stuff. Those are hard to get. Now this has pine, fir, juniper berries, leather, and patchouli. Very masculine and nothing sweet or juvenile or playful about this. You know, in a way it's modern because it's a modern take on a more traditional DNA, but it's not modern in the sense of smelling like 1 million elixir or something like that. You know, this is not anything like what's being put out nowadays in 2022 heading into 2023. We're already in it, but I'm talking about the things that have yet to come, which I'm sure are going to still be following that sweet trend. This is not that. So if you want something that's just a little bit more masculine and a little bit more old school, but with a modern take, this is a great one. And we'll end this video with one of my favorite fragrances from John Varvatos. Now, this was actually, I think, the first one that I ever got from the brand. And it's a limited edition, come to find out. And so price is starting to go up a little bit. Availability is going down, but it's still one that you can get pretty easily. John Varvatos Artisan Aqua. Big fan of this. And again, out of the Artisans, this probably takes the cake for my favorite. I love Pure, right? That's a really good one as well, but this is amazing. Now this one has a pretty interesting note breakdown. We have pomelo, we have fir resin, orange, lavender, and a bunch of other notes that I have no idea what they smell like, so I didn't even bother listing them off. But you do get a very aromatic, woody, green, clean, watery smell out of this one with a little bit of a neroli bite to it. Maybe it's a petitgrain, something along those lines. Really impressive stuff. Super unique for the price. And this is what John Varvatos was built on. I think they also kind of lost their way there towards the end with stuff now like Artisan Teal, and some of the Nick Jonas ones were a little bit, you know, more so basic, and they, you know, just put out some things that weren't really as interesting. But again, they were built on some super cool stuff. Like this one, Dark Rebel Rider, Artisan Black was another good one. They just have a lot of great stuff that's unique, and those are slowly going away. So if you have interest in this, I would get it while you can. Alrighty guys, that's gonna do it for me. 10 of the best kept fragrance secrets in the community. Make sure you keep these on the hush hush if you want to continue smelling unique and using these. And again, like I said, you guys probably have most of these or at least know about them or have smelled them. And so, you know, this is just kind of a reinforcement that, yeah, people outside the community in the real world have no ideas these exist. You know, I've done videos before on completely random, under the radar things that no one has heard about. And those videos get not even half the views. Like I did a top 10 summer fragrances that you've never heard of video a couple years back. It did horribly. So when people say, oh, we want to see stuff new, that's not really actually the case. That being said, these here, maybe some a little bit more random for you to check out that you haven't yet. But ultimately, I hope this video helped you out. I will link them down below. And remember, if you want a fighting chance at getting some of the hot, rare, hyped up men's fragrances, you got to get on that mailing list, and you got to be checking the community tab on the hour. Seriously, I've helped so many of you guys get some amazing deals. It's a free service. It pays to be subscribed to the list. That's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.